the annual Powwow, and a new bus line to UNM.
It's hard to make it as a teacher and to make it through the College of Education.
And in sports, more on concussions, Lobo running backs, and the newest UNM sport. I'm Marcus Jaramillo.
And I'm Micaela Eldridge-Lane. All this on UNM News.
Each April, hundreds of Native American tribes come together in Albuquerque to celebrate their culture and their history, and continue their traditions of dance, music, and art. The Balloon Fiesta and the Powwow are Albuquerque's biggest tourist attractions. Mark Acosta was there for the 31st annual Powwow.
The annual Gathering of Nations Powwow consists of multiple dance and song competitions, an outdoor stage featuring contemporary music by Native American artists, the yearly crowning of Miss Indian World, and an Indian traders market where crafters and artists display and sell their work. Mayor Barry was on hand at the pit to help open the dance competition and welcome the many visitors to Albuquerque.
Thank you for honoring us by coming to Albuquerque for the Gathering of Nations. This means so much to us as a community. This is a place where we celebrate diversity, we celebrate culture, we celebrate bringing people together.
An important part of the powwow is to keep traditions alive for younger generations, and the powwow celebrates both old and new Native American art and culture. The dances are categorized mainly by age and gender, but also by northern and southern dances and traditional and fancy dances. A traditional dance for many tribes is a warrior's dance, but there are also harvest dances, healing dances, and others. The fancy dance category is the most energized and expressive.
Traditional, then we have more contemporary styles of dancing, fancy dancing, shawl dances, and chicken dance, grass dancing, women's traditional, many different styles.
Right now I'm dancing in a 55 plus, fancy dance and jingle dress dance combined. And the other categories are also entails the traditional combined, southern and northern groups combined. And then they have the regular adult categories, which is the 18 to 34. And it's great. It really accommodates all levels of ages of dancers.
Fred Morales has been coming to the powwow from Colorado for the past 5 years as a crafter and vendor.
Our turtle rattles. Turtle rattles are very sacred. The turtle represents Mother Earth, and there's 13 spots on the back of every turtle. Those represent the 13 moons of the year. These are another one of our rattles. These are deer toes on buffalo bone.
The most dazzling part of the Gathering of Nations is the beautiful and elaborate clothing the participants create and wear to represent their tribes. The clothing looks especially amazing when in motion in the dances which are at the core of the celebration. From the 31st Annual Gathering of Nations Powwow at the Pit, this is Mark Acosta reporting.
UNM students can ride on Albuquerque's buses for free, but sometimes the bus routes make that difficult. Michael Burt reports that after years of requests, the city has finally initiated a bus route from the growing west side to the UNM main campus.
Commuting has long been a thorn in the side of students at the University of New Mexico that live on the west side of Albuquerque. The city of Albuquerque has taken notice and in recent years has added a new bus line from the west side to UNM's main campus. The Rapid Ride bus line, route number 790, can get student commuters from the city's Northwest Transit Center in roughly 45 minutes for free. And that's time that can be used for productivity or relaxation.
It takes me probably about 40 minutes one way to ride the bus, but I love it because it takes away all the stress of driving and things like that. I just sit there on the bus, usually read a book, people watch, check out the strangers, check out hot chicks if they're on the bus.
The Blue Line is also great for commuters who are headed to the heart of the city because it has stops at the Courthouse District in downtown Albuquerque as well as stops near Old Town. However, there are those who would like to use the Blue Line but cannot.
I never ride the bus because I go to school way too early and the bus systems don't run that early. So.
The Blue Line also offers many transfer stops to give commuters a chance to get most anywhere in the city. Albuquerque City Transit also offers Red Line and Green Line Express options. For UNM News, this is Michael Burt reporting.
So you want to be a school teacher? From the application process to completing the actual program, education majors are under constant stress. Jozelyn Escobedo reports that the program's rigorous demands may be only the first step in public educators' stressful careers.
Applying to the College of Education is a long and challenging process. It begins with completing a TK-20 application, a New Mexico skills-based assessment, and then requires multiple essays, letters of recommendation, a free write, and an interview. UNM junior and education major Becca White says this process is nerve-wracking, especially because of the tight deadlines.
You kind of only have a couple of weeks to do that, so it's kind of stressful because you have to get everything done. It's crunch time, and then once you do that, you have an interview with someone from the College of Ed. After your interview, you find out within 3 or 4 weeks if you got in.
UNM senior and education major Courtney Barnes says she feels like the department does not get students ready for the demanding profession.
They don't prepare you enough when you're applying. They don't give you a heads up and saying, hey, by the way, this is the reality of it. It's a hard job. It's not a job. It's a really hard career to go into because of this, and this, and this.
Despite New Mexico's low teacher salaries, White still wants to pursue her dream of becoming a first grade instructor.
As we know, teachers don't get paid a lot, and so that, to some people, that's a total turnoff and they won't go into teaching, but I see so much more than what I'm going to be getting paid. I think it's better to do something that you love and get paid a little bit less than doing something that you hate and get paid more.
Barnes, however, says that being a teacher is so exhausting, many instructors call it quits early in their educational career.
In our cohort alone, there's about like 30 to 35 people. And one of our methods courses teacher said at least a third of you will drop out of teaching, if not half of you, by the time you hit your 5th year of teaching. At least a half.
Barnes understands that there will be obstacles in her profession, but her love for elementary school children is what keeps her going. She also says she wants her students to get excited about learning again.
It's really that aha moment that they get whenever you teach them something or teach a difficult concept and that they're able to grasp it.
Barnes says it's her desire and love for teaching that continues to motivate her.
Yes, it is hard as heck, but you have to keep in mind your passion and your inspiration why you wanted to do this field in the first place.
This is Jozelyn Escobedo reporting.
At this point, it's no secret to football fans that the UNM Lobos likes to run the ball. It's been the trend the last 2 seasons, and head coach Bob Davie said it'll be the trend going forward.
The defensive side of the ball has been problematic since Davie took over as head coach in 2012. UNM ranked 119th in total defense last season, giving up an average of 516.6 yards per game. But Davie said the Lobos have shown some improvement this spring.
I think we're better. I think we're more explosive. I think there's more of an aggressive just attitude. I think kids enjoy playing. I think our coaching staff's done a really good job of just putting their personality on this. You know, anyone who's watched us practice would look at our 4 defensive coaches and say, you know what, those guys get after it pretty good.
In December, Davie fired former defensive coordinator Jeff Mills and moved defensive line coach Kevin Cosgrove into the defensive coordinator position. The first-year defensive coordinator said he likes the direction the defense has taken this spring.
Well, you know, our kids are working hard. They have a tremendous attitude. We are showing improvement every day. I like the physicality right now. Coach Davie's allowed us that opportunity with a lot of scrimmage situations. We still have to get better. We've got to become a better tackling defense, more physical defense in terms of turnovers. But I like the direction we're headed right now.
Starting safety David Guthrie agrees.
It's a huge improvement from. I can go back all the way to last year. This is I feel like this is the best our defense has looked since I've been here, my 2 years. So it's exciting to see. I mean, we've improved a ton. So that's something that's really exciting to all of us as players and coaches and all that stuff.
The Lobos hope that the improvement they made in the spring will transfer over to the regular season. This is Thomas Romero-Salas reporting.
Concussions in sports have become a booming and hot topic. With new technology and studies, doctors are continuing to find more problems related to concussions. The NFL has attracted much of the attention in the documentation of football concussions, but high school football has also been forced to adopt higher standards and new concussion protocols. We now know that high school is a time when teenagers' brains are developing at a high rapid pace. We also now know that many high school-age teenagers play sports, which puts more wear on them. One of the risks of playing high school sports, particularly football and soccer, is the risk of injury. In these sports, head traumas and concussions are major concerns. But what exactly is a concussion? El Dorado's head athletic trainer, Missy Archibek, tells us it's a tricky definition.
That's probably one of the hardest questions you can ask. How I compare it is a disruption in the brain activity. We all know here in New Mexico we get these crazy electrical storms. And sometimes the power flickers in your house, sometimes it goes out for a while. And when the power comes back on, you slowly see, well, is my sprinkler system working, or does my microwave turn on random times? We all know that in our house the electrical system sometimes is really hampered by that, sometimes it's not.
Archibek says that is her best comparison to what a concussion actually is. Any Google search will bring up a plethora of different answers, and in her studies, she's tried to make it as simple as possible.
I've looked it up, I've tried to find good definitions for it, but I find when you define it technically, people go, that makes no sense to me.
Making sense of the new findings of concussions can be a tough adjustment for everyone. Learning new ways to treat them, cope with them, and teach new practice techniques for the athletes are all crucial to today's precautionary concussion procedures. El Dorado football head coach Charlie Dotson understands how concussions have altered his sport and the way his staff tries to prevent them.
Blocking now has changed over the years where now you can lead with your hands instead of your head. Back in the old days you had your arms in and you'd lead with your head and your arms. Now it's more out to the side to where on offense you're not engaging with the helmet, and then on defense you're always, we teach the kids to go ball side, having our head up at all times, tackling through the guy instead of never going helmet to helmet, never leading with our head.
Though coaches have changed their teaching styles to prevent concussions, the topic still drives concerns about whether or not parents want to allow their children to play football. Former football player Joseph Mendoza hears complaints from parents that football is damaging to their kids' brain, but that hasn't changed his opinion of the sport.
There's risks in anything in life, and I think putting my kids or in something putting my children in something like that, that's something that I wouldn't want them to miss out on.
Since around 2011, the talk of concussions has gotten intense, but there's no immediate end in sight. New studies and protocols may improve the health of teenagers involved in the sport, but there will always be that hazard and caution in the back of parents' minds when they give their kids permission to play football.
UNM has many different sports teams, ranging from football to skiing. There's a new sports program joining UNM in 2015, and it may be a bit unorthodox considering the geography of New Mexico. Kyle Tomasi has the story.
It's not very often that new sports are added to schools. UNM Athletics wants to change that, however. Sand volleyball is very popular among East Coast schools and West Coast schools, where sand is prevalent, so having the sport here may have its troubles. The team is looking for a home court type atmosphere to support them in this upcoming season, and they may have found that place.
I think our courts kind of speak for themselves at this point.
Manager of Stoneface Tavern, Pablo Roybal, and sand volleyball director Brian Klein are both excited for sand volleyball to be added to UNM.
It's something that we're very much open to looking into. Obviously with the volleyball, I think we're trying to chase a different crowd. It obviously brings in a younger crowd, which is great.
I think it'll help out with their indoor fundamentals as well as their outdoor. It gets to explore new aspects of a game. Like you can't hide a player or do anything here. Everyone has to play. You're going to touch the ball at least once on every play. So as a volleyball player, I mean, you get better with the more touches you get, and you can't get more touches than playing doubles.
Klein does not think that hosting a large crowd will be an issue.
Downstairs has the 3 set-up courts for more of like a professional bid, and it can, I mean, we could store up, I've seen probably about 500-600 people down there.
One issue of this upcoming season could be the unpredictable weather here in Albuquerque.
Problem is the weather gets bad. I mean, we have 2 courts inside.
Klein and Roybal do not expect to make much profit off of this. All they hope is that the sport continues to gain popularity in this part of the country.
I just want to grow the sport. That's all me and my boss are about, getting people out, seeing something different. I mean, as long as, in my mind, as long as we break semi-even, where we stay afloat, that's all I care about.
We generate some revenue, obviously, off of this. You know, really what we were trying to do with this is, you know, we're just trying to get people over here to come check out our facilities, come check out what we got. You know, we're trying to get people into to this part of town.
Other venues including Sneakers Sports Bar and Charlie's Sandbox are being talked about. There's still a long way to go before any final decisions will be made. This is Kyle Tomasi reporting.
So Micaela, do you ever get to make it out to enjoy some sand volleyball in town?
No, I don't, but I'll have to go and see the UNM play in the fall.
Definitely, it'll definitely be exciting. That's it for this edition of UNM News. See you next time.